Thank you for watching MMA Odds Breaker. Obviously, that's Vladimir Minishenko, the janitor. Getting ready to fight Houston Alexander this next week down at Pechanga Resort. It's actually kind of by your house. It's only like an hour and a half trip.
Hour and a half. Yeah.
First time in a long time you've actually fought kind of close to home.
Yeah, I'd actually like to fight to the East Coast more because the time change, and I like to train around 5. So over there, I'm,
7
right
o'clock.
now I never train on that time at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I'm my bedtime.
Of all the guys I had to get a hold of for Bellator, your opponent, Houston Alexander, is the only one that never called me back. Some of the guys said no, they couldn't do interviews. Most of the guys said yes, we're going to do them right away. I got nothing from Houston. Like, he blanked me entirely. So I'm going to talk crap about him because he just didn't give me any response. At least give me something. Like, if you don't want to do it, just say no. You have been in the Big Show a couple different times. I mean, back in the day, you fought Tito Ortiz to a 5-round decision back when Tito was unstoppable and you almost stopped him. You've had the absolute biggest ups and downs in the sport, but you're still coming along and beating guys up and getting your way in there. After that loss to Ryan Bader back in January, before you're kind of in that middle ground, before Bellator said, hey, look, we're going to bring you in, what was it like? You're older. You kind of, it's tough to find fights. I talked to your manager quite a bit. What was it like from you, from a mindset of, oh, crap, I got to find a new place to fight?
Well, it was not such a thing as oh crap. It was more like I've been training so hard for that fight, and I got hurt actually before Matt Hamill fight. And I was getting ready for a Bader fight, and it just, to me, it's like it hurts to waste all this time in training and just go there for a few seconds and just lost like this. So I don't want to. I just want to walk away by losing like that. And like MMA is the most unforgiving sport. If I fight Bader probably 10 times, I'll probably win 8 out of 10. But that one time, that makes a big difference, and it's over. In the boxing, they have 8 count and 9 count, whatever. In the MMA, they don't have it. You got caught, it's over.
Yeah, you get. I can't. My last 2 fights in the UFC with Sarah and Koscheck, I was wide awake when I hit the ground. I bounced right back up arguing, but it was a flash knockout. Fight's over. It's like, it is what it is. Like, you can't do anything about it.
The only thing you can do about it is come back next time and try to better. That's all I'm doing right now.
All right, with Houston Alexander, the book is out on him. He's not going to try to wrestle you. He's not going to try to grapple you. He's going to come out there and swing for the fences and try and knock you out. You guys are co-main event, which means it was built to be an exciting, drag-out, domineering fight. But I know you. I've known you for years. You're not going to stand in front of this guy and take the risk of getting blasted, especially coming off of back-to-back losses. The Gustafsson and then the Bader back-to-back. What is Houston bringing to the table that's a little bit different than anybody else, and what are you going to do to counteract that game?
What you just said it. He's a striker. He's hungry in a way, even with the same age. But he's, we're kind of the same situation. He wants to prove something. I want to prove something. And his, main weapons are, his fists, his explosive, and he'll go for knockout. And if I go for that too, we kind of like 50-50. I'll try to eliminate those chances and take him down and ground pound or submit him, whatever. But I'm not afraid to go fist to fist with him either. It's but like I say, it's a 50-50 game. And
you spent a lot of time still dynamic. You're still down to train with Anthony Hardunk.
Yes, just did yesterday. Still working with striking, but my wrestling is in my blood.
So who do you're so good at what you do. Who do you find down in Southern California to train wrestling with?
Well, actually, people getting better and better. Even though, like, some guys, like, for instance, Gabriel Lima. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, but he's a good wrestler. He wants to be a good wrestler. But he's pushing me too hard, pretty hard to get there. There's a couple other guys. There's Oliver from East Coast. There's a few guys from East Coast. They're good wrestlers from Pennsylvania, and so there's always good guys to wrestle with. If you need anybody, I'll call you, Tree.
I wish I could help. I'm a little bit small. Speaking of calling me, I was in LA this weekend up at Strong Sports. I came in time for some meetings. And I'm working up there with Willard and the rest of the guys, and all of them are talking about when you come in and teach classes at Strong Sport, how much better the classes are when you're there teaching. How hard is it during training camp to go, all right, I got to take the mindset out of trying to beat a guy up and go, okay, now I have to teach these guys how to beat guys up? Like, how hard is it to make that switch from athlete to coach?
Well, actually, it's some in the beginning of my career it was kind of hard, but now I getting used to it more and more, and actually it helps. It's always helped to see somebody from the side. That's how you learn. Doing by yourself, you not always have that experience, but by watching other kids and training, it's exciting. And plus, it takes your mind off the concentrating on the fight all the time. Like if you think about your fight 24/7, 2 weeks before fight, you burn out yourself. So, teaching other guys is kind of takes your mind out of it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to teach that tomorrow night, right before I'm going to leave to
Oh,
Echo.
are you driving down? Obviously, you guys are gonna drive up, right?
Yeah, I'm going to drive there on Tuesday morning, whatever. So that way I can bring my stuff and a bunch of coconut water.
The trunk will be full of it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Who's coming? Is your wife gonna come for the whole time?
Right before to come on Friday. Most of the guys are come on Friday. I just need you guys to train with. And actually, I have my teammates, Virgil Ziegler. He's from Temecula, and he's fighting the same card, so we can help each other to lose weight and stuff like that.
And what's your weight like? Speaking of which, you're fighting at 205, but what are you weighing right now?
Like right now.
Right now.
I don't know. This morning I was 215, but then I ate a little bit. Maybe 10 pounds over.
Which is normal. At 10 pounds, at 200, at over 200 pounds is not that much weight. That's for you. That's a relatively easy day. But you're 42 now. You're not a young chicken. Is cutting weight still that easy, or does it come a little bit harder?
It's not easy, but it's if you do it smarter, put it in a way like I learned much more, and you know your body by this time, and you know how to do it right. But yeah, it's never easy, especially when it's hot weather. I don't understand. Like for me, it's easier to lose weight when it's a little colder. When it's hot, I tend to drink a lot. Just to keep my. I think it's body defense mechanism. If you're hot, you just drink.
Yeah. What are you doing differently now from like 10 years ago when you're training? Remember, we're the second generation of guys. Like that first generation of the Gracies and those guys. The Severins. That was the first generation. We came in right at that second gen, and training for me has changed tremendously. It's a totally different ball game from what we were doing. So I don't know how it's trained for you though. Like, what are you doing now?
But also, it's not just a generation. Also, it's where you're at that generation. At that time when we were training in our 20s, yeah, we have to bust our balls off just to get there. It's kind of like hand gliding. You have to get up on the top, then you just slide it down to just catch the wind. And definitely right now, I'm very careful who I'm sparring with. I don't want to go with young guys and who just want to prove themselves and knock my head off when the training. Or injuries comes, issue sometimes. So you have to be really careful with big partners, but also partners who you can learn from. Mm-hmm. And as a matter of fact, I'm watching the new guys. I'm watching John Jones, St. Pierre, those guys. I learned from that.
If you were 30, how would you do against John Jones?
Oh heck yeah! If I'll be 30, I'll be UFC champion right now.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem is that a lot of the older guys I'm talking to, that they're like, we're 10 years too late. Like we're 10 years too early. We got in the sport a little bit too early, and it's kind of frustrating.
It is frustrating, and also that's one of the reasons I'm not still fighting. I'm not quitting or retiring because right now it's a mainstream sport. Back in the days when we started, it was still kind of half-assed, kind of like almost half legal thing.
Yeah, and sometimes you go in and show up, and I remember showing up and making weight and being ready to go, and then the commission comes in and they're like, we're getting ready to step on the scale, and the commission's like, yeah, no fight, you're done. I'm like, what do you mean we're done? Like, we just got here. How is this no fight? Yeah, that's it. No money, nothing, just out.
Yeah, so right now, and those organizations like Bellator and UFC, they put the bar so high, and organization and the show, it's so good to be part of it. So it's a big deal. It's very, how can I say, enjoyable to deal with media even right now. Before they were asking, like, what's your style? What do you do? It's like right now, you actually hear intelligence questions and stuff like that.
What do you see yourself doing here in 4 years from now? You're still going to be fighting, or you're going to be done?
That's a good question.
What's your wife say?
4 years right now. No, my wife supports me. Doesn't matter what. She's cool with whatever I do. I still like to coach. I still like to get my gym back. Maybe, I have a lot of things going on actually right now. I got my real estate license and working on my second deal right now.
Look at you growing up and having stuff to do. Far cry from pummeling on the beach down in Hermosa. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, well, Vladimir, thanks for coming on here. I unfortunately will be in London this week covering another event, so I'll have to watch it on TV as opposed to being there live. But I can't wait to see how you do, and you know, I want to see the old Vladimir back. The old guy used to go out there and just grab a guy, throw him down on the ground, beat him up, and walk home.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon, man.
All right. Thank you, Craig.